All right, everyone, welcome back. What's good? What's good? Welcome to the basement, where theology meets the thoughts of life. It's good to be with y'all here again. We actually go on every Wednesday at 9 p.m., but today we're doing a special episode for y'all just to share a little bit of something that we actually went through recently. And so we just want to let y'all know, give you some insight on some of the struggles we've had with this whole thing with COVID-19. And so it's a special episode here today. But make sure you share and like the page. Let people know that we're on. Maybe you know someone right now that is sick or recently are having complications. Whatever the case is, this episode today is kind of like just testimonial, and also hopefully we're encouraging and insightful to some extent. But share and like the page. Let people know what's going on here on Wrath and Grace. Remember, we do go on every Wednesday at 9 p.m. This is just a special episode for Wrath and Grace here tonight, sharing a little bit about something that we went through. So, but every Wednesday at 9 p.m. we go on Wrath and Grace. Don't forget that. Also, go to our website, wrathandgrace.com. There you can subscribe to our podcast, also with Cross Examine and Wrath and Grace Radio. So we have other podcasts there. We also have resources. We have shirts. We have all sorts of things you can check out on our website. Order a shirt. Order something online. And hopefully soon we'll have our own shirts, Johan. But we'll have that soon for you. And that'll be an encouragement to us and also to you. That you will support Wrath and Grace here. So go to wrathandgrace.com and make sure you support. Also, we do have a Patreon account, patreon.com/thebasement717 if you want to support us. And we thank all our Patreon supporters for helping to pay the bills that we have here in the basement. So again, this is The Basement, where theology meets the thoughts of life. And this is my man Wayne over here. What's up, bro?
Yo, back again for a special featurette. Glad to be back. What's up, y'all? I see y'all in the comments section. Everyone's like, yo, basement on Monday. You know, it's funny. We started off doing the basement on Monday nights.
Right.
And then we switched up whenever we realized that other people on Wrath and Grace, when we partnered up with Wrath and Grace, and someone was already doing something on Monday night. So
yeah, the plan was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but it seems now kind of open.
Yeah, you know yeah. So we're back in your area. Let us know where y'all at right now. I seen a couple of y'all saying that we usually go live at y'all bedtime. I hope, well, maybe some of y'all wake up really early, but this is prime time for me. 9 p.m. That's perfect time for me, and it's 8:30 right now, so I'm just priming up. But anyway, we're back. We're back for a special featurette in the basement. This is not a regular episode. People heard that we contracted. Is that the right way to say it? We contracted the coronavirus.
that don't sound good.
It sounds crazy to say that we contracted any type of virus.
We just got it.
Yeah, we got the Rona. And so when people found out that we got the Rona, and that's D-A, the Rona. We got the Rona. And when people found out that we got coronavirus, COVID-19, a lot of people were asking us how it went for us. People were messaging us. People were hitting us up like, yo, y'all right? And they wanted to hear our story. And I think Los came to me with the idea, yo, we should go live and do a special episode where we just talk about what we went through and just give our whole perspective on it. So tonight we went live. We're going live right now on the Wrath and Grace page just to give y'all our perspective and to speak on the coronavirus 2019.
Right.
So this is not a regular episode of the basement. This is a special featurette that I just always throw out there as it's called The Basics in the Basement. Tonight's episode is called COVID-2020. And you guys will figure out why we're calling it COVID-2020. So those of you that are watching, go ahead and hit that like button. And matter of fact, I've said it before that sharing is caring and caring is sharing. Hit that care button so that you can share how much you actually care about us, and hit that share button so you can show how much you actually care about us. So anyway, We appreciate y'all jumping on with us. We got Georgia in the building. Someone said that they go to bed at 3 o'clock. Or no, they go to work at 3?
0300, that's military
my
time.
alarm goes off at 3, usually at 4 o'clock. That's crazy. Sometimes I don't go to bed until 3 o'clock. So anyway, and I gotta go to work at 6 I gotta wake up by 6 in the morning. So anyway, we're glad to be back. Let's jump right into this, Los. Just to, we already gave y'all an intro on what we're going to be talking about today. Let's talk about the first thing today. Let's talk about being homesick. And I only call this homesick because we were sick at home, but then I felt homesick. Like it wasn't my regular home when I was at home sick. So I was like sick of being home. I was sick at home, and then I was sick of not feeling like it was home. Right. So I was just all around homesick.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys are feeling some of these symptoms.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a homebody though, but I don't like knowing that I have to stay home. Yeah. I like the option of just being able to go out. You know what I'm saying? So not being able to do that was a struggle for me. And so with all this equipment, all this stuff I got in my basement, I got a beat maker, I didn't want to do anything though.
I didn't want to do anything either. I didn't get intellectual while I was sick until probably the 5th day.
Right. Right. Same.
On the 5th day I rose. Yeah. On the 5th day I rose. Like Jesus rose on the 3rd. Took me 5. Like I did not care about anything intellectual for the first couple of days I was sick. I was mad relaxed. I was like watching mad movies and I finished what did I finish? The whole season of Marvel? Wait.
Yeah.
The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I finished the whole thing.
That's crazy
because that sounds like a waste of time, but listen. Hold on, let me explain.
It was, but hear me out. Listen, Linda. Listen.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, being in a situation I was in, I'll explain this later, but the desire to read, to do anything, to think, it was a struggle for me. You know what I'm saying? So I did do some of that afterwards.
Absolutely.
But
you know what's crazy?
Man, it was tough.
I realized, and sorry, I swear I only had 1 cup of coffee today, but I realized this. Let me see. I realized this only after spending a couple days of doing nothing intellectual, that it's a waste of time. No. I realized that it can get real boring because I always thought, yo, man, if I could just stay home from work for 2 weeks and do nothing, I would be all right. But after a couple days of doing it, I was like, this is for the birds, man. I don't know how people can just sit at home and do nothing.
Yeah. I like getting up and doing things, I feel accomplished, you know what I'm saying? But to stay home all day and do, that's a struggle for me. I couldn't be a stay-at-home anything.
Yeah, it would be hard. Because I was thinking, like, what if I was able to work from home? I would have to find ways to get out.
I go to Starbucks, but now you can't even do that. But man,
shout out to y'all, all y'all stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads,
mad props.
The homeschoolers, the ones that work from home, all of y'all.
I don't know how y'all do it.
I mean, that's about the same thing as people that sit at their desk. I told somebody that I can't have a desk job. I would be getting up. They would have to glue me to my seat because I can't do a desk job. I just can't. So anyway, let me start off like this. I got the coronavirus from the fact that I work in the healthcare field. It just is what it is. Like I know for a fact, just the way things were going at my job, I work in the sick unit. It is what it is. That's the way it went down. And so as I was going through it, I looked at it as, I didn't get it because I was like out in large groups. I didn't get it because, any of those things. I got it literally doing pretty much what I was supposed to do. An essential worker. And at the same time, you were working the whole time through the thing, right? You were working up until the day you got sick.
Yeah.
So it's
the
like,
day I noticed is the day I was like, I gotta go get tested. Because they told us at work, if you even feel sick, you need to stay home.
yeah, like both of us being essential workers, anyone who's essential, for the most part, the numbers are against you. You're most likely going to catch it, not only being essential, but then at the same time, you going out to the stores and just being exposed to this stuff. I mean, it's bound to happen. But I could tell you this much. When I first got sick, I didn't even know it was the coronavirus. I had eaten KFC. And so like, I thought it was just like maybe food poisoning. Maybe they gave me old chicken. I don't know, because my stomach was messed up. So I'm like, maybe it was that. But then the next day, I felt a fever coming on. I started like, all right, this isn't just KFC right here. Like, my sinuses is messed up. And so I started saying, maybe I'm having my sinus problems, because I have sinus problems throughout the year. Anytime that the weather switches, I'm having sinus problems. Even at night, my wife likes to sleep with a fan on directly on us, and there's times when I wake up with sinus problems because of that. So I'm thinking it got to be a sinus problem. This can't be the coronavirus, because what I'm going through right now, this isn't what they televised on TV as the coronavirus. This can't be the thing that everyone is like scared to death and scared to look. He shook. Like, there's no way that people, like, what I'm going through right now is the coronavirus. That was my first thoughts. And guys, I'm only giving you my thoughts. I'm not telling you this is fact. I'm giving you my thoughts and my opinion on this tonight. Just know that. So I told my boss, I don't think that I have corona, but I might need to go home because I'm not feeling good. And I'm like, my temp is rising. You should probably just let me go home. And then once it got to a certain point, my temperature got to like 101 something. And they were like, all right, you got to go. Because it went from 99 to 101. And it was like, all right, you got to go home. And, they sent me home and I got tested. And it took a couple days for the test to come back. And when it came back positive, because they sent my wife home too. And yeah, like anybody close to us at that point, they told us not to even go to the store. Not even go to the store. If you have to get something outside of your house, get somebody to drop it off to you.
Yeah, I remember there was a video on Facebook where a Turkey Hill employee had it, and man, they shut the Turkey Hill down. So that, what I mean, there was still this like vibe about this whole thing being that serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it still is, but yeah, for me, I noticed real quickly. Actually, it was on April the 23rd. That was a Thursday, I believe, if I got the date right. And for me, I knew something was wrong right away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, I got a banging headache. I'm not feeling well. I felt, like I had a fever throughout the night or whatever. My whole body was achy. You know what I'm saying? So I knew something was wrong. And so I got tested Thursday, didn't go to work, and then Saturday I got the results, and they said I tested positive. And then I was pretty much quarantined for 14 days.
Yeah, that was a long time, man.
Bro, like,
because as I was going through it, I was home, got positive, found out I was positive, and then my wife turned out to be negative on the testing. But then she started showing symptoms a couple of days after showing up negative. So then, like, I'm isolated in my room. She's bringing food to me and stuff like that. A couple of days later, she gets it, or it starts showing symptoms. Right. By then, I stopped showing symptoms. So we kind of did the switch, and it was just God's sovereignty that way, was where I was really sick, and I was like, so let me tell you some of my symptoms I was going through. I wasn't having any problems breathing. I was having problems with high temperature. So I would have heat flashes and stuff like that, and the fever going up and down. I would sweat it out. I was having problems with my sinuses, and then eventually towards the end of me showing symptoms, I lost my taste and my smell. Right. Yeah. So as I'm going through all of that, my wife is bringing me food, and at that time she's still downstairs with the girls, because everybody pretty much moved downstairs and I was upstairs. And we have separate bathrooms and stuff like that, so we started separating stuff. She started showing symptoms as I was getting better, so like no more symptoms at this point. I pretty much have no symptoms, but they say to stay in your house 3 days,
Right.
no symptoms.
Right. And then you can.
And then from there you can go. So I switched. Now I went downstairs. I sanitized everything. She came in the room and isolated, and then I was able to take care of her and keep the kids away from it. And thank goodness the whole time that we were sick, because we were gone from work for 2 weeks, and we quarantined for 8 of those days we isolated in our rooms for 8 of those days. So only me and her got sick, and we both work at the same place. We both work on a sick unit, so it kind of made sense.
Right.
Only me and her got sick. No one else in the house got sick. The kids didn't. My mom and my sister live with us. They didn't get sick. No one else got sick in the house. Just me and her. And we were able to take care of each other and take turns doing that. So that was the best thing about it all, was that we didn't suffer. We didn't have any breathing problems. We didn't suffer. We just kind of went through the heat flashes, the temps, the sinus problems, the losing the taste. But other than that, we were good.
Yeah.
Now you went through a little bit tougher time with the symptoms.
I'm older now, so the older heads have it harder.
Yeah.
But for me, like I said, the first 2 days, like that Thursday, I knew I had it because I had fever, head and body aches, for 2 days. But then that Saturday, when I got the test, the headache started leaving me, but the body aches remain. You know what I'm saying? I'm still feeling achy or whatever. And then 3 days or 2 or 3 days after that, I had shortness of breath.
Yeah, that's when I hit you up like, yo, what's up? And you told me you were about to go to the hospital and get tested.
Yeah, because
or at least look.
No, they wanted to do X-rays and make sure I was good. But I had shortness of breath, and the way I knew it is I couldn't take a deep breath. You know what I'm saying? And I could tell my lungs were like, chill.
Yeah.
But then after the shortness of breath, I recovered very quickly after that. You know what I'm saying? Like probably 2 days after that, I started feeling better, and actually felt better than I did before I got it.
So you did go to the hospital?
No, I didn't.
You ended up not going to the hospital?
No, I waited a couple more days.
And it passed?
And it did go away.
I didn't go to the hospital at all. I went to emergent care or whatever like that is.
Urgent care.
Urgent care.
Right.
But this one was called emergent care or something. This one's a different name.
Emergent church care?
Yeah. Yep. And that's where they just, they lay hands on you when you walk in there.
Rob Bell was
and you're
there.
good.
Rob Bell's taking your temperature.
Yeah.
Stephen Furtick's there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hey, Tristan, thank you for joining us, and
you
can check this out later if anything, but
for sure.
Good to see you. Hopefully we see you on Wednesday. But yeah, I went there and I never had to go to the hospital. I just took one trip to the doctors, and that was only because I had to go get tested. And from there, everything else was over the phone, which was pretty good. I didn't have any emergencies.
Yeah, I had the phone. Did you have the every other day on the phone where they check up on you, text and all that?
I was actually ignoring them because I was.
They would ask you, how do you feel? And then I did it.
I got annoyed. And I get it. They're, that's part of their job. That's protocol.
They keep record of it.
Yeah, but I was like, all right, yo, my wife don't even check on me like this. Nah, I'm playing. But I just actually every time that they called, I would sleep, and I didn't feel like calling them back.
Yeah.
So I would hear their messages, and it was just, oh, we're just calling to check on you to see how you're doing. And I knew that I stopped showing symptoms after 5 days. After the 3rd day, I really stopped showing serious symptoms. I say 5 days I was showing symptoms because a couple of those 5 days the symptoms were just me losing my taste.
Yeah.
So the serious ones, like the heat flashes, the high temp, sinus problems, which wasn't breathing problems, that was only like 3 days.
Yeah.
So I suffered slightly for 3 days.
You know what was hard too? Was going live on Sundays. I remember I texted the guys and said, look, man, I don't know if I could do it. Yeah. And then Saturday came, my headache was gone. And then, believe it or not, I sermon prep for 3 hours.
Yeah, that was crazy.
You know what I mean?
we told you, yo.
Yeah.
If you can't do it, then just don't do it.
I couldn't read, I couldn't study, I struggled, but you know what? I put 3 hours in and was able to do it.
Yeah.
But it was tough.
Faithful to that word, man.
But 3 hours, I was just like, yo, that's tight.
Yeah, so you study for me and you.
Yeah.
So what did we do while we were sick? Well, other than dealing with the physical symptoms, you deal with the mental and the spiritual symptoms that you go through. Yeah. So like to keep my mind going, some of the things that I would do is, because I was just in my room and I don't have a whole lot in my room. I usually do that on purpose, not put a lot of stuff in my room so that I don't like to stay in my room. If I don't add stuff in there, then I won't want to stay in there too often. Yeah. So I'm in my room and I have a TV. So I'm watching movies and, watching documentaries and stuff like that. But then eventually you get tired of doing it. So I started studying, and I was able to study. I was able to pray. I was able to praise God with music and stuff like that. Eventually, like I said, after a couple days of being entertained from the screen, then from there I was able to start like wanting to feed my mind again. And that was so important, because if I didn't, I don't know what my time at home would have been like, what would it look like.
Right. And that was hard for me like from Thursday to Monday. That was difficult.
Yeah.
To read anything. So that's
the first couple of days that you got sick.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Of course, your whole body's hurting. You're in pain.
It feels like the 24-hour flu, but it lasts for a couple of days.
Yeah, yeah, and just having that headache, having the body aches, and I didn't want to read anything, and or think. It was just a difficult time to really get your mind right. You know what I'm saying? Because everything hurt. You're stuck at home.
Eventually, Lynette caught it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So eventually,
and she's good now.
Your wife.
Yeah.
Those of
Praise
you that
God.
don't know who Lynette is.
But
we kind of were worried that Lynette had it since November, though. We thought that she was like, all right, the worst thing that you guys could do during this time, or when you get sick with this virus, if you do not watch Contagion. Do not watch Contagion. I made the mistake and watched Contagion, and I was mad paranoid while I was sick, even though I knew my daggone self was just in the room. Like, that's the worst thing you could do. So as I'm watching it, I was laughing to myself, because it's a running joke within our small circle at the church, which is like, yo, Lynette's been sick since like November. Remember, she had that cough that wouldn't go away?
Yeah.
And so I was thinking like Lynette was like the one in Contagion. Pepper Potts from her
from
I think she played
Iron
in
Man.
Shallow Hell too.
Okay.
I think she was the main.
I didn't see it,
so she was the main character. Well, she was one of the main characters in there, and she was the first carrier of the virus to the States and stuff like that. Like, she was one of the first. And so in the movie, I'm like, yo, I feel like Lynette has had this cough since November that did not go away. But nah, she ended up catching it for real.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a cough; it was like sickness.
Yeah. But
she didn't go to the hospital though.
No, and she's doing just fine.
She's fine.
Up,
right.
We're good.
Right.
By the way, we shampooed all the carpets.
It looks crazy nice in here.
Yo, we cleaned up. We had professional cleaning done in our family room, because that's where we spend our time quarantining. But everything's clean, wiped down, and we're doing that pretty much to get back into the it being normal in the near future, where we can have people all over and things like that. But a part of me is like glad that we got it to get it out the way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's like
I saw my dentist the other day, and he literally, because he heard that I had it, and he literally came up to me and shook my hand and said, I'm so glad to see you. I hadn't had a handshake in months, like, because of this whole coronavirus, like the quarantine and everything. Like, he came up, shook my hand, came close, and said, and this is without a mask and everything. He's like, yo, you're like Superman right now. Like, I felt like I'm shaking Superman's hand right now. He was like, I know for a fact that you're safe, and because he's done the research on it, and he's not scared by the information that's out there. He's actually like, we were able to talk, me and my dentist, and
I'm pretty sure he has doctor friends too.
Oh man, he's sharp. This guy is sharp, yo. He's a young, sharp, and he's Christian too. So he found out we do the podcast, and he was like, I'm gonna check you guys out. Like, he's mad dope. So
nice.
we were just talking about it, and he's not scared by it, but he is cautious. But when he heard, yeah, you got it, he was like, man, you got the antibodies in you now to break this virus down.
Yeah.
So he was like happy. He was like, you're one of the few people that I'm glad to have right now. So
that's what's up.
Yeah, but I wanted to talk about the Rona reveal. The Rona reveal. I come up with these crazy ideas, man.
Oh my God.
So everybody is on Facebook and social media doing all their gender reveals. But how was your Rona reveal? How was it whenever you told people, yo, pray for me, man. I just found out I'm positive. I tested positive and I got the coronavirus.
Yeah. I actually, Jay, my best friend, we're like brothers, he was shocked. He almost cursed on the phone. He was like, yo, I can't believe it. Are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. And he was like, I can't repeat what some of the things he said, but
yeah, I got you.
He was shocked. He was like, really concerned too. He said, if I needed anything, that's what's up. But our coworkers actually inboxed me and checked up on me, which was good because they heard through my job that I was sick. And actually the management at my job were just fantastic.
Yeah, you know what? Let's pause. Let's take a second now to shout out our bosses and our work.
They were so helpful, man. So respectful. So yo, if you need anything, let us know. I was just like, wow. They really stepped it up.
That's literally, I could say the same thing about my job because I wasn't the only one that was out. Actually, at the time when I was out, there were 5 other people that were out sick as well. So it was because I work at a nursing home. So it was just a normal thing. Everybody, there was mad people out, but they were checking to see if we were good. Towards the end, when we stopped isolating in our room, they actually brought a nice gift basket and it had mad stuff in it, and
that's the way it should be.
They just dropped it off at my front door and was like, we can't wait to see you again, hope you're doing good.
But when I did go back to work,
and I got paid for all of them days I was off.
Me too.
Shout out to them.
Praise God. But I did notice that when I got back to work, some folks were distant.
That's what I mean by Rona reveal. Because when you reveal to people that you had the corona, people look at you like you got AIDS. Now I know what Magic Johnson felt like when he when he told everybody that he had AIDS.
That's anybody.
Nobody
back
wanted
in the
to
day,
guard.
though.
Nobody wanted to guard Magic Johnson. Do you remember that? Nobody wanted to guard. Nobody wanted to even
We actually didn't used to play basketball in a certain part of the city because it's we used to joke about the park and say if you get fouled you might get AIDS.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's how this coronavirus got people acting
that vibe.
Family members, nobody wanted to be around. They'll drop stuff off and then run away.
Yeah,
and it's all right, it's not that real.
Right,
it's not that real.
But I noticed some people were distant and not close, and
they treat you like a monster.
Yeah, I'm just okay, hey, so if you call for anything, it's oh snap. You know what I mean? So because I had allergies too. That's another thing I didn't say. When the shortness of breath was leaving me, the allergies were really noticeable.
Yeah.
So I would cough and clear my throat and things like that because I got an itchy throat and itchy eyes and all that. But man, it was a struggle my first week at work to to not show my allergies and the things that I normally go through throughout this year. So it was a struggle, man.
Yo, that Rona reveal was serious, man. But I'll tell you this much though, I'll tell you this much. I thank God for the people that he placed in my life prior to the coronavirus because they were such a blessing during this time. And I thank God for our church family. I gave a shout out to my job already, but let me give a shout out to my church family.
Absolutely.
Let me give a shout out to my blood family. Let me give a shout out to my friends. All of y'all are the real MVPs for real, because I don't know how many things that we had dropped off, even when it came to for 8 days straight. There was no cooking going on in my house.
Yeah.
We had a meal, and it was not just a one-time meal. They gave us enough food to last us for dinner and then lunch the next day.
Yeah.
So there was a meal every single day. whether it was being delivered to our house from a restaurant or dropped off from whoever it was that dropped it off and provided dinner and a big meal for us. So it wasn't just 3 tacos. It was like meat. Here's a big thing of meat. Here's a big thing of
Where
shells.
you said that, like,
yeah, like here's a big thing of shells, and then
that's how you gotta preach.
yeah,
you know?
like yes. Here's a big thing of rice, and somebody else dropped off some, like we had we had some real Corona, like there was some real Corona in the crib, like nothing crazy, like
Right.
we weren't getting drunk or nothing like that,
Right.
but shout out to the people that y'all too, y'all hooked us up with Longhorn.
Yeah, man, that's what we do.
Man, that steak was good.
But one thing
Hold on real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I'm about to cut you off, but I'm still laughing at that time whenever I called you up and I was like, yo, bro, I just got done eating my steak. I had it delivered to the crib. I was like, bro, good luck, man. Good luck. I'm happy that you just, got us that steak, yo. You was like, no, I said good luck on dinner. And you were like, what? I was like, good luck on dinner. Like you just ordered that steak for us. You was like, what are you talking about? I was like, yo, it was on your card. It literally was charged off. And you were like, what are you talking about? Lynette had ordered us food, I guess never told you. Nah. And so I'm like, yo, good luck on the food. You was like, yo, I'm at home eating Pop-Tarts. Like, we was eating lobster and shrimp.
I was hating on you, bro.
Yo, that steak was so good. Oh my gosh. What were you gonna say?
No, one of the highlights for me while we were quarantining was our church family, like 6 or 7 cars out front beeping horns and with signs. And
we wanted to be part of that, but we couldn't.
Yo, showing love, like, and all the neighbors were looking out and things like that. So our church, man, is just an amazing group of people, man. They're so encouraging.
Yeah. My sister-in-law bought brand new pillows for us, and they wasn't like the Dollar Tree joints either.
Nice.
Like they was. Anybody that knows me, anybody that knows me knows that I sleep with multiple pillows. Like I sleep with a minimum of like 3 to 4 pillows every night. And so she ordered us brand new pillows for the room.
A body pillow, ain't?
Oh my gosh!
You hug and put your.
These pillows are so nice and fluffy.
Listen, if you ever get one of those body pillows or whatever they're called and you use it, take a picture. I would like to.
Why would I do that? Why would I do that?
Tiff will do that.
Tiff will do that. Tiff will definitely.
You heard that, Tiff?
There.
Do that.
She'll put me out there on
yeah,
Instagram
please
and
do.
on.
Please do.
Norma said, "But where's my steak though?" It's gone.
It's in the mail.
Yo,
it's in the mail.
Man, because you had steak when you were sick too, right? Somebody got you steak?
No, I actually.
Oh yeah, you don't even eat steak.
Yeah, fish and chicken. A lot of chicken and fish. Which was good. Yeah, it was good, man. We had some good meals too. People hooked us up too. It was a blessing.
Yeah. So that Rona reveal was serious, man.
Yeah, it was weird. And I was actually afraid. I don't know about you, but like going back to work was weird for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want people to, treat me a certain way or whatever. So that was a weird transition back.
We got all the equipment on at work anyway. Because I take care of people. So I got all my equipment on anyway. But I'll be walking through there like, I'll be feeling like I'm invincible some days. I'll be like, go ahead and cough on me. Go ahead. Nah, I'm messing. I'm just messing, y'all. I'm just messing. If y'all know me, I'm joking right now. What's up, y'all? We're just giving our thoughts on how we went through the coronavirus. We see y'all comments out there. Y'all got me cracking up, man. So let's talk about why health matters, and not just physical, mental and spiritual.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why health matters. Let's start off with the physical. Of course, with this coronavirus, the way to beat it is not just to go into the war room and get on your hands and knees or like blow it away like that one preacher is trying to do, where he's trying to blow away the coronavirus and cast it out and stuff like that. The way you beat this coronavirus, at least from what we've been learning, is to build up your immune system. And I think we've all heard it.
Yeah.
Wash your hands. Build your immune system up. Be safe while you're out and about. Like,
yeah. Take your vitamins, do what you got to do. Immunity boosters, that's what we were taking. You know what I'm saying? Vitamin C.
Yeah.
One of the things we started doing was taking walks out together, me and Lynette, on a daily, just try to walk and then talk afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So we go out to the park here in our community, and it's been that's been good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I did hear that y'all were taking walks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's nice. Norma said, "Since when you stop eating steak?" Ooh, you bougie.
I ain't bougie, sis. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting older, so
you gotta cut back on the red meat.
yeah. You already know, but when I've been eating that, I noticed that I was fatigued afterwards. I was like, I don't like feeling like that.
I witnessed it. I literally witnessed it. And
yeah.
he ain't lying, y'all. And that got me thinking, and so I started like.
I noticed
I
the
started
difference
falling
right
back
away.
from red meat myself.
Yeah, I noticed
So-
like I can digest better the food and all that, and I feel better.
I eat less burgers now. I eat less steak now.
That's
that
gonna,
I see.
yeah. Summertime, I love eating. I make my own burgers too. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I guess
so.
you
I'm
could-
gonna do it.
I guess
probably.
you could just eat some turkey burgers, but it ain't the same, bro.
Nah, I can't.
It ain't the same.
I think I'll probably do it on a Friday where I know I can go to sleep and not go to work the next day. You know what I'm
Norma got the old man emoji up.
saying? Whatever, sis.
That's funny. So we know that physical health matters, but mental health. So like people have been messed up mentally from staying in so much. So some things that we can do is something that you mentioned, just taking walks.
Yeah.
We've talked about like keeping your mind sharp. At the same time, there's other mental exercises that you could do. Is kind of meditating on the word is spiritual, but at the same time it is mental.
Yeah.
Because it's renewing your mind, and it doesn't just have spiritual benefits. There's something mental about this.
Yeah.
Meditating on the scriptures, meditating on God's word, and reflecting on his promises.
Yeah.
And getting to know him more and more, building up your knowledge of God, studying theology. There is benefits to these things mentally.
Yeah.
You worry less, you stress less. You're able to be encouraged on a regular basis. So these things like really matter.
Yeah.
And of course the spiritual, to build up the spiritual, and it's so important to feed your soul what is beneficial.
Yeah.
I know people that on this quarantine, they ain't done nothing for their soul other than let it break down.
Yeah, it's like the whole time they felt like I felt the first 2 or 3 days, or they did what I did the first 2 or 3 days, which was basically nothing. Just, but one of the things I did was, I said, you know what? I've been wanting to buy a new Bible. So I did that. I bought a really nice Bible. And I don't know, it felt good to just have a brand new, very high quality Bible, and just, you know what, I'm just gonna, again, because you get used to the digital reading on your phones and things like that, but there's just something to have the Bible in your hands, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I always give my Bibles away. But this one, I'm gonna keep this.
Nah, that's a nice Bible.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep that one, and I've been reading through it, and it's been encouraging. Reading through Exodus for our small groups, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just personally reading carefully through Exodus, doing that.
So what were some things that you read? Okay, were you only reading to study what you needed to prepare for? Was there anything that you were reading in your leisure, things that comforted you, that you might have just said, it's going to open up the Bible? I know that most of the time that when you're reading, you're encouraged regardless.
Right. Well, I reread John, so I read a couple passages in John. For me, what works for me is, if I'm preparing a sermon or like Exodus, and I like to really be close to what is in the church, what's going on in the church, you know what I mean? Yeah. I do read through the Psalms, things like that, but I like staying encamped into the text that we're in. And I'll read before, after. I'll read a couple chapters before in the Gospel of John. But I'm reading carefully through Exodus. And again, I'm just reminded of the sovereignty of God, and how Pharaoh, one of the big things for me was that I was reminded how Pharaoh actually said, forgive me. for sinning, and plead to your God. And then God was like, nah, I'm still going to harden his heart so
Right.
that he, so the sovereignty of God and salvation and things like that. So that's me, what I'm saying? I think I like staying close to where our church is,
Yeah.
when it comes to Bible reading and things like that.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. It's nothing like going to the Lord in times of need. Of course, you go to him at any other time, right? But going to him when you're in need and coming to him and saying, Lord, no matter what it is that you have planned, I trust it. Which brings me to my conclusion, or our conclusion. I wanted to talk a little bit, and I'm going to put this question out there for the audience. I'm going to type it right here. Got a question for y'all, because I like to engage with y'all. We like to do that here in the basement. What's been your thoughts on God's goodness and sovereignty? And I'll even put in there ... emphasized through coronavirus. Hopefully, yeah, that comes through. So you guys can answer that. Those of you that are out there still watching it, feel free to go ahead and answer that. But I thought we could conclude on that one right there.
Sure.
What's been music cut out?
No, it'll go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's been your thoughts on God's goodness and sovereignty emphasized through the coronavirus?
My thoughts, I would say that my thought is right now, after going through something like this, is that God still remains sovereign. My faith in God is strong. I didn't worry about dying. You know what I'm saying? Like some people were like, the reaction to me being sick was like, oh snap, what's gonna happen? And it's like, well, I don't know, but I know God is sovereign. So I know for me, my faith is intact and it's stronger. And I trusted that God, would do what he would desire to do with this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? I think it also reminded me again of his grace, because I could have bought into the phobia, into the panic, but by his grace, I felt like secure in him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, God, if this takes me home, it takes me home. And I literally felt no worry. I was just like, what am I going to do? I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to worry. So God got this. So it proved to me again, God's goodness and his sovereignty and his grace, to be able to go through something like that without panic and worry. I was just like throwing my hands up in the air and be like, you're sovereign, you're in control, and we'll see where this takes us. So I was encouraged.
Yeah.
Even though the first 3 or 4 days were really difficult to think and read and do certain things, but inside my soul, I felt secure in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. I could definitely relate to that. I'll just throw in there that as these things were going down, and I might have thought, hey, if this thing takes me out in the middle of the night, because I was also reading about that too, like people will be okay, and then in the middle of the night they just die. So like I did cross my mind, like I might feel good, but what if I go to sleep and this thing takes me out? I kept on thinking, like, that's whenever I started getting like, all right, I can't just sit here all day. And not that it depends on what I do. It's not dependent upon what I do, but I looked at it as my life is supposed to be a living testimony to what God's grace has done for me in all times of my life. So even when I'm sick, how is it still a testimony? And that's what gave me that motivation, that inspiration to get going and to like not just sit there and waste my time. So to take a page out of John Piper's book, I did not want to waste my quarantine. So don't waste your quarantine, y'all. Those of you that are watching, those of you that are listening, don't waste your quarantine, man. Maybe we'll follow up this topic one day with that one. Don't waste your quarantine. But I want to encourage you, those of you that are out there, whether you're sick, or you're taking care of somebody that's sick, or you know somebody is sick, or you're not sick and God has spared you from the virus. Don't waste your quarantine. Spend this time getting to know God more. Spend this time. I was thankful that I was able to spend mad time with my kids, my wife, especially when me and my wife were isolated in the room together. Like, we were able to really talk, and we were able to like watch movies together and stuff and laugh. Like, you're stuck in the room with the person. And I don't know the last time I was actually stuck in the room with my wife for a couple of days. Like, never. We've always, our whole marriage, been on the go. So it was fun. Now, my wife, you know how females are. They always get irritated easily. So, like, she was nagging me a little bit at, certain
you're
times.
digging yourself into a hole right now.
I know, because she's live with us right now. But, how guys are. Guys do things that just, they annoys the ladies. And so, I was doing a couple of those things right there but you know what, though? And I told her this while we were isolated. I said, I would never want to be isolated with anyone else but her. I thank God for...
Good way to make it up.
Yeah, I thank God for him pairing me and her up, because the way she served me when I was sick, to the point where she probably got sick, because she was negative. She probably got sick from serving me. And so...
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Tiff, because she's out there. She's in here too. But she said, nah, you was nagging me. I was. I shared that meme of Scarface whenever he came up to this girl. Remember? It was like, she was mad in the meme, and then he comes up behind her, and the meme reads, me coming up to you when I know you're mad. That was funny. But anyway, I thank God for placing her in my life as well.
We got good wives, man.
Yeah, because I heard Lynette was serving you too.
Killing it, man. Just always available, ready. She was at home. She stayed at home because of this whole thing. So she was here the whole time, and I didn't lack anything, man. She was helpful and just willing and able to help me out, and that was a blessing, man.
Yeah, man. It was a blessing. That I told someone, like, I didn't suffer. But I'll tell you this, even if I would have suffered, I wouldn't have wanted to suffer with anybody else other than my wife, and I wouldn't have wanted to be comforted by anyone else other than God. So I thank God for this whole thing, because it changed up everything around us, and it does change up like our lives in a certain way. It takes us out of our comfort zones. Yeah. But that's okay, because I think it was time to get out of those comfort zones. I think that God really is preparing us for, I won't say, it is kind of like a rebirth. Yeah. It is like a rebirth, what's going on right now.
Yeah, like walking in the park, being together, more. I think a situation like this, I think for some people it's been a challenge, because now they have to deal with each other because they're at home all the time. You know what I mean? So that could happen too. But for me, that's not the case. I think me and my wife, we've had some deep conversations, some moments of, challenges. But overall, man, my wife, she really stepped it up, and just, she's always stepped it up. She's always been helpful, always been encouraging, and she's a servant. You know what I mean? She loves to serve.
Amen.
And so that's what she did, and I'm thankful for that. So
to take it a step further, without like what we've been talking about, is I say this to all the Marvel fans out there, the ones that have watched it. Like, literally, this whole thing has been like when Thanos, when he snapped, the snap, and like the after effects of it, like everything changed, and I doubt that anything is going back the same.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I know,
but it's a good thing, though.
Yeah, there could be some good things out of it. I think human nature, my opinion, is after 9/11 and seeing some significant things happening, who knows? There might be a new normal, but This is America, man. We can be a very stubborn culture.
Yeah. Earlier,
We'll
when
see.
I asked the question, what's been your thoughts on God's goodness and sovereignty emphasized through coronavirus? Tiffany, my wife, she said it was actually hard for me to be in my room for that many days, because there was a point where I left the room, I left the isolation room, and she was in there by herself, and she had to go through that storm with God. And she said, I started to crave normalcy. I began to get depressed. God really dealt with me while I was in quarantine. Regardless of the changes we constantly face, our God is never changing. His word is never changing, and I was so able to find comfort in knowing that God's word hasn't changed. God hasn't changed, and he will remain that way. So yeah.
Amen.
Evie said, during this quarantine, God has taught me how much I need him even more, how all else will fail, how people will fail me, but he and his word remains the same, faithful through my faithlessness.
Amen.
Christina said, purifying and growing, that's what our Father does for his children. Amen.
True that.
So thank you guys for tuning in to this special featurette of The Basement. I want to remind you guys that we're going live in 2 days. We go live every Wednesday on this page, the Wrath and Grace page. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, episode 51 of The Basement. We're 51 episodes in.
It's crazy.
And, you know, Lord willing, we're going to have Brother Tim Bertolet with us, and we're going to be speaking on being justified by faith alone. Second time around. This time, even more ideas, even more in depth about how it is that God saves us, and how important it is to know these things and to share these things with others. So you guys make sure you tune in this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time for the next episode of The Basement.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, thank you for joining us. Grace and peace.
Did you already put the plugs up?
Yeah.
All right, you guys make
Every
sure
Wednesday.
And you guys make sure that you go join our Facebook group, The Basement. This is The Basement Podcast, where theology meets the thoughts of life, and you can check us out in our Facebook group, The Basement, and become a member, and join in with the conversation. We appreciate y'all jumping on with us tonight.
Be a part of the group, facebook.com/group/The Basement. That'll be dope. All right, y'all. Grace and peace. It was good to be with you, and we'll see you this Wednesday, Lord willing, at 9 p.m.
God bless.
And grace.